Last week, the New York Knicks woke up a dormant NBA world by trading away Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo for Karl Anthony Towns. The Knicks have been extremely aggressive this offseason, adding Mikal Bridges and now Cat to pair up with Jalen Brunson. This came after last season when they traded for OG Anunoby midway through the year and transformed them into one of the most dominant teams in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks had one of the best seasons they've had in decades, finishing second in the East and winning 50 games but missing the conference finals by one game. A game in which Jalen Brunson left early due to an injury, which is probably because Tom Thibodeau decides to play his players all the way to the ground. I mean, Josh Hart was averaging 48 minutes a game. But that was kind of the story of the Knicks last season. Julius Randle only played in 46 games last year and missed the entire playoffs, while Mitchell Robinson missed 50 games and then got hurt again in the first round, leaving the Knicks with virtually only one sitter for most of the year. To make things worse, OG Anunoby missed a significant amount of time in the regular season and some of the postseason, making the Knicks a one-man show behind Jalen Brunson. And a one-man show can only go so far in the NBA. So it was clear that the Knicks need to give Jalen Brunson some help this year, and that's exactly what they did in the offseason, trading for Mikal and now bringing in Karl Anthony Towns. Towns is kind of like the perfect answer for this Knicks team. He's the self-proclaimed best shooting big man of all time and is a dynamic weapon for this Knicks team. Since 2017, he has hit 40.4% of his threes while attempting 5.1 threes per game. This type of deadly shooting from your center makes the opposing team have to really worry about him all the way over the court, and oftentimes in bringing the opposing team's best rim protector outside of the paint to guard Cat at the three-point line. And this is what we saw a lot of last season with the Minnesota Timberwolves. On this play right here, you see the Nets' best rim protector guarding Cat all the way at the three-point line. And because Cat is a 7-footer who moves like a point guard, he's able to hit this nice step back jump shot. This time we see Cat versus one of the best rim protectors in the entire league in Victor Wembanyama, pulling Wemby completely out of the paint, and Cat just knocks his three-pointer down. What this did for the Minnesota Timberwolves team was give Anthony Edwards, Mike Conley, and other guards ability to get to the rim like never before because the lane was wide open, something that the Knicks did not have last season. Brunson is a player who loves to go downhill, and oftentimes we see him scoring in the paint or shooting a running floater. Although last year we saw him settling for a lot of threes and long twos. That was mainly because the Knicks just didn't have the personnel to stretch the floor. If we look at this graphic from Todd Whitehead on Twitter, you can see the best teams in the league at stretching the defense's rim protector away from the basket. At the top of this chart, we see the NBA champions, the Boston Celtics, who on average had rim protectors standing 11 feet and 4 inches away from the basket. And then at the very bottom, we have the team with the worst average last season, which was the New York Knicks, who had a rim protector standing 7 feet and 8 inches from the basket. Meaning Jalen Brunson had to find a way to be effective while having the worst spacing in the entire NBA. And somehow, he still managed to put together an all-NBA season. Now, if you add Karl Anthony Towns into that, there's a major chance that we see a wide open paint for Jalen Brunson. What I'm really looking forward to seeing Brunson and Towns play at is in the pick and pop. Brunson absolutely loves to capitalize on the pick and roll / pop, and in fact, he was top 4 in pick and roll possessions per game last season, and was number 1 in the postseason. Him and Julius Randle averaged 1.12 points per pick last season, one of the highest averages in the NBA. With Randle out most of last year, a lot of the pick and rolls for the Knicks was ran with Brunson and Hartenstein. Here you see Brunson using Hartenstein's screen looking to score, but due to Hartenstein's lack of shooting and scoring ability, all the defense focuses on Jalen Brunson. This results in a situation where Brunson is now guarded by 2 players and Hartenstein rolls into a crowded paint, and the only option for him to kick out is to Josh Hart, a 34% three-point shooter. And it leads to a turnover. Once again, we see the same situation. Brunson comes off this handoff, and both Prince and Anthony Davis stick to Jalen Brunson and leads him to a contested jump shot. Now, you add Cat into this equation, and it might look completely different. Even on a weak pick play like you see right here, someone sagging off of Karl Anthony Towns is not a good sign. And when Cat doesn't want to shoot, well, he's a 7-footer who can handle the basketball. So on this play, Mike Conley draws 2, whips it over to Cat, and instead of settling for the jumper this time, he takes it off the dribble and scores a layup. This versatility that Cat gives the Knicks is something that I'm going to keep my eye on the whole season. Now, Cat joining the Knicks is great and all, and we saw a quick little demonstration of what they might look like. But the real question is, can Cat get the Knicks over the hump? Will they be the best team in the East? Will they be able to compete with the Boston Celtics? Let me answer the second question first. yes, they can compete with the Boston Celtics. They probably could have actually competed with them last season. But competing and beating are two different things. I still don't think this move makes them the best team in the East or a team talented enough to beat the Boston Celtics. In fact, my initial thought process when I saw this trade go across my feed was, how can all these new faces play together? I mean, you just added Mikal Bridges, now you're adding in Cat, OG's still fairly new to the roster. How are all these guys gonna gel? And how long will it take for them to actually be competitive? So I started to research how long an NBA core must be together before you can win an NBA championship. Now, my definition of core is the best 2 to 3 players on your team, which led me to making this chart right here. This is a small sample size, but I think it gives us a good picture of the modern NBA. So here we are, the past 10 NBA champions and how many years their core players were together at the time of winning. Now, you will notice that there are some teams who won pretty quickly with their core being fairly new, but you also notice they all have one thing in common: LeBron James. So outside of LeBron, who's literally an anomaly, you only have one team who's won with a fairly new core, and that would be the Toronto Raptors. Now, the Raptors, you can argue both ways. Kawhi joined an already formed system and was just kind of elevating them. But still, my point is, the average amount of time a team takes to win an NBA championship without having LeBron James is 4 to 5 years with their core. Obviously, that means the New York Knicks are not winning an NBA championship this year, but most fans already know that, unless you're a delusional Knicks fan. So it led me to ask my last question. If it takes 4.5 years for a core to be together, so we're thinking Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Mikal Bridges, give or take, how long do the Knicks have everybody under contract? And can they even wait 4.5 years to win an NBA championship? And the best way to find that out was to look at the Knicks' current contract situation. So the Knicks have Mikal Bridges looking to sign an extension at the end of this upcoming season, which will lock him up. Karl-Anthony Towns is locked up until 2027, and OG and Jalen Brunson are locked up until 2028. So once they work out the extension with Mikal and hopefully convince Cat to take a player option on his last season, the Knicks would be right at that 4-year mark. Now, this will not guarantee them an NBA championship, but according to the analytics, they will be in position to win an NBA championship. The fun part about all of this and seeing Cat go to the Knicks and seeing Mikal Bridges and seeing Jalen Brunson is that the Knicks are actually a good team. Only once in my lifetime have the Knicks actually been somewhat of a legit team and not a laughingstock of the league, and that was with Carmelo Anthony. So now, once again, to me in my mid-20s, seeing the Knicks be good again is really fun to watch. Now, I'm not a Knicks fan, not a Knicks fan at all, but it's just good for the sport to see the Knicks play well, and New York fans are crazy. No longer do Knicks fans only have to come to Madison Square Garden to see when LeBron, Giannis, Kawhi, James Harden, or someone of that caliber is in their arena to go off. Every night can be a big game now because the Knicks are actually good. I'm super excited to see how this Knicks team will play this year and to see if they can sit together and actually form an NBA championship roster. When's that time the Knicks have a championship, right? Okay, so they won in 1973. So I'm happy to see if this team can form into the championship squad and win their first championship since 1973. I don't know if anyone watching this video right now was alive in 1973, but if you are, thank you for watching. I hope if you're a Knicks fan, I hope that you guys finally get one and you see another one. You haven't seen one in over 50 years. But regardless, congratulations, Knicks fans. You guys are a legit team now. People actually care about you. I mean, people always cared about you, but like, you guys actually matter now. And for everybody else who's not a Knicks fan that just loves basketball, thank you for watching. Hope you guys have an amazing day, and